Bambiz presents Elder Law Growth, the podcast that helps elder law and estate planning attorneys attract clients without wasting time or money. I'm your host, Jim Blake. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about crafting a compelling law firm story. There are so many stories that we could be telling our audience as an elder law or estate planning law firm. The power of stories is so valuable. So we're going to talk about what that means, how we can utilize it, and how it can help fuel the growth of your practice. Welcome to the Elder Law Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Blake, dedicated to guiding elder law and estate planning attorneys through the ins and outs of effective marketing. My mission is to provide actionable insights and strategies for elder law and estate planning attorneys who are passionate about growth. Bambiz proudly sponsors this podcast. If you're looking to amplify your marketing efforts and connect with your ideal clients, Bambiz is the answer. To discover the difference Bambiz can make for your practice, visit bambiz.net. That's BAMBIZ.net. Now, let's jump into today's topic and go on this journey of growth together. So let's understand what story can do when you're creating marketing messages at your law firm. The one thing that's really important is it's called the story brand framework. And it was developed by a gentleman named Donald Miller in his book, Building a Story Brand, which I highly recommend you check out. You can purchase that on Amazon. We'll put a link to that in the show notes for you as well. But really the core idea in this book, in this concept, is not anything new. You'll see it in a lot of movies, books. It's just a story mythology to creating a narrative that your future clients actually want to go through with you. Every client of yours wants to be the hero of their story, and every hero needs a guide. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how you are going to be the guide in the story for the hero, which is your next client at your elder law or estate planning practice. So in the story brand framework that's put on by Donald Miller in the Building a Story Brand book, there's 7 elements. So I want to briefly talk about those and what those are so that you can start utilizing them when you're thinking about creating marketing messages, updating your website, creating social media posts, or using the tools that you may already have at your disposal, such as the Bambiz Marketing Essentials, to even adapt that so that it's even going to be better in your voice. What are the 7 steps? First, every story starts with a character, and that's the character who needs something. They're having a problem. That's going to be your future client, the person that your message needs to be relating to in the marketing messages that you're putting out there into the universe. Part 2, they have a problem. So those are going to be the pain points that your clients are typically facing when they come to you. Those would be the frequently asked questions that your ideal clients are asking, or the questions that they should be asking you. And you really need to think about this because it's not going to be necessarily the same for every single elder law and estate planning law firm out there. This is going to be unique to actually who you want to help at your law firm. So if you want to help people with crisis planning and Medicaid cases, then that's going to be the type of questions that people are typically asking you. If you want to help people more with like high net worth estate planning issues, those are going to be a different set of questions. Or maybe you're just super niche and you want to do things like pet trusts or families with young children planning. Those are going to be different questions that people have. So you have to think to yourself, what are the type of clients I want to be helping on a day-to-day basis? And those are the problems that character of the story is going to be facing when they're reaching out to you. And so you got to think about those problems that they're having, those questions, those frequently asked questions, those should ask questions, and go from there. The part 3 is, hey, they meet a guide. Now, this is where you come in at your law firm. So this is the attorney. This is the law firm. This is what they're looking for. They're looking for a guide. So your character, your future client has a problem. Then what they do is they come to you as the guide in their story to help direct them, to help bring them to what their desired outcome needs to be. And some of the examples they use in the book is, you're not Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, right? You are Yoda. You are the guide. So think of it like that. You're helping them. They're not coming to you to talk about you. They're coming to you to have you guide them to the outcome that is desired by them. So here's where it comes in. This is great for elder law and estate planning. Part 4 is, hey, you need to give your future client, that person with the problem, a plan. Identify what they need, what they want. You're going to understand their problem. You've positioned yourself as a guide, and now you've given them a plan of action. So here's our 3-step process to get that problem solved that we know that works. And here it is. So now that you've given them a plan, you need to call them into action. Hey, we know you exist. Hey, you have this problem. Hey, we've given you this plan. Let's take action now. This is the point of decision for your future client. Do you want to see what life looks like when this problem is solved? Give them the ability to take the next step and retain the law firm. And let them know, hey, part 6 of this process, you're going to help them avoid failure by following this plan that's a proven process that we've done many times over with many families in the same situation as yours. This will help you avoid the failure. And part 7, end in success. Now that we've gone through this process, here's what success looks like. This is what it's going to look like after we've found what the problem is, identified the problem, went over the plan, took action on the plan, and now that weight is off of your clients. Now that they haven't retained you, they're your client, and the weight is off the shoulders. That's when you're going to reach back out to them and you're going to talk about, hey, can you give us a positive review and that type of thing. So that's the flow of the story brand method and how that relates to an elder law or estate planning law firm when they're thinking about their messaging. And the real kicker here is we see it a lot on websites. So on websites, it's very attorney or law firm driven information on there. And to be honest with you, as an end user, as your future client, when they're browsing online, trying to find out what is the type of law firm I actually want to work with when I'm going through this problem that I think is going to give me the best results and best situation for my needs, that is actually going to be the law firm that talks more about them, that feels like they understand them and not really talk about you. They don't really care about how big the law firm is, about your education, about all of that, right? They just want to know that you are a human being that cares, understands their unique situation, and is there to guide them to their desired outcome. So now that you know a little bit about that, the client is the hero, with the challenges that your clients typically face, emphasize the importance of identifying and resonating with the goals and aspirations of your future clients, understanding that the law firm is the trusted guide. Your law firm is the guide that's going to take them to the next level. Show empathy, show understanding, show that you are sympathizing with their clients, your future clients' concerns and anxieties. And then again, put yourself in there as the authority. You've done this before. You know how things work. You're ready to help them. You're confident. Show your confidence that you are the guide that needs to take them there. So now that you've defined all of that, it's going to be, using that information when you are creating each piece of content on your website, in your social media posts, in your blogs, and understand that who is the main character of the story? How can you help them? Walk them through this process each and every time you're putting out different types of communications. And when you are putting out an email newsletter or a blog or social media posts or updating your website with different sections, think to yourself, is this talking more about me and the law firm? Is this talking more about us? Or is this talking about them and how we can literally bring them to their desired outcomes? So if there's anything that you ever have any questions on, you can always reach out to the Bambiz team at bambiz.net is the team email. You could shoot an email over. We'd be happy to help you. We do have a really cool guide, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes, where it shows you how to fill this type of information out into a blueprint that you can plug and play if you wanted to build a website on your own. Obviously, when we're building out websites here at Bambiz for clients, we're using something like that to map out the story for the law firm that we're working with, and so that they can have the most successful website in this blueprint that they can have. So it's not going to be law firm focused. It's going to be solution based off of the clients you want to work with. So again, when you're thinking about your marketing, go through this framework. If you have questions, buy the book, Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. Great book. Second part of that, I think, is called Marketing Made Simple, which is a great read as well if you're interested in marketing. Again, this is based for all types of businesses, but when you're reading these books, think about how this plays into estate planning, how it plays into elder law, and then you can start to understand and modify the information from those books into how it affects you. And again, like I said, we do this all day. The stuff that we're doing is using information and tools from that, as well as many other resources that we have dived into on our end to make sure that your marketing at your elder law and estate planning firm is going to be meeting the best practices, connecting with people in your communities so that you are able to make the largest impact possible in your community with your law firm and help the legacies of many generations to come. So again, thank you so much for listening to the Elder Law Growth Podcast. I'm Jim Blake, your host today. We talked about how we can go in and craft a compelling law firm story in your marketing messages. I hope that this podcast was valuable. If it was, share with a colleague. That would really mean a lot to us here at the Elder Law Growth Podcast. And again, if you like it, leave a review. That helps too. Get those algorithms moving and shaking so that more firms can impact communities. And then by doing that, more families can be impacted by the great work that elder law and estate planning law firms are able to do around the United States. So again, thank you for listening to the Elder Law Growth Podcast. I'm Jim Blake signing out, and I hope you are able to join us for the next episode coming up soon. Have a great day.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Elder Law Growth Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things marketing for elder law and estate planning law firms. Here you can find all of the tools and skills you need to market your own practice without wasting your time. If you like this podcast, please leave us a review wherever you're listening. And if you're ready to take the pressure off and let our team handle your marketing, visit bambiz.net and book a free call with us today.